you're back for good, or at least for now. You're not back for just one more ride into the sunset.
Nah, I think I got three to four more years.
Okay. Back in March, we found out from Jalin Turner that he was calling it a career, and it was a great chat. It was a heartfelt chat. He came on the show and we talked about it. He was one of the best fighters in the world and had essentially had enough. And then we found out just a couple of weeks ago that he's coming back. He's coming back at the next pay-per-view, the final UFC on ESPN pay-per-view, UFC 323, December 6th in Las Vegas. And I wanted to understand why Jalin Turner decided to come back some 9 or so months later. And so without further ado, let us say hello to the Tarantula, who's kind enough to join us on this Wednesday afternoon to talk about it all. Hello, Jalin. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. I do want to let you know that this news came out, I don't know, back in October or so, I think it was. However, we here on the, not this program, another program on the network called The Boys in the Back, we got a tip in September from someone who works at Petco who told us about this before the world knew. I want to play this clip for you, and you tell me if this is an actual real thing that happened. Take a listen.
I have met Jalin Turner at my work. Mind you, I work at PetSmart. I work at PetSmart, and I'm working at PetSmart. I see a cool dog, and I look up, and it's Jalin Turner training a dog at my work. I talked to him, and he told me I wasn't supposed to say anything, but I'm gonna tell you guys because
You're telling everyone.
we're all friends here. He told me that he's returning to fight in November. Now, he was training his dog. We talked a little bit about dog training because I'm a dog trainer. And he was like, don't tell nobody, but I'm returning to fight in November. So Jalin Turner officially out of retirement and is returning in November. Hopefully we see him in the UFC.
Okay, so he got the month wrong, but is that a real thing that happened? Did you tell some guy at PetSmart, I said Petco, I apologize, PetSmart, that you're coming back?
Yep, that was the real thing. And I told him not to say nothing.
Yeah, what the hell, man? You just blurted it out.
Yeah, that's wild. Dang, I trust people.
So how did that happen, by the way? You're at the store and the guy recognizes you and you're like, yo, man, I'm coming back after all?
He ended up being a fan, talked to, knew who I was. And, I just gave him a little update, talked to him about it. We talked about dogs a little bit. And then I was like, yeah, I was shooting for November, trying to get back in there. And then, lo and behold, ended up being December. But it all worked out. It all worked out beautifully. But yeah, so that's how it came about.
Okay. So I'd love to understand how this all unfolded. Back in March, you're telling us about the retirement. You're a little bit emotional, but you seem at peace with it all. How soon after, the dust settles, now no one's talking to you, you're just a retired UFC fighter, do you start to think, wait a second, I want to come back? And why are you feeling this way?
Honestly, first of all, when I retired, I definitely didn't have any aspirations to come back. It was wholeheartedly, I wanted to step away, didn't want to think about fighting. The wild part is the thing that happened was Ian Gary's camp asked me to come train with him for the Carlos Prates fight. So I literally get up off the couch. I'm like, yeah, I'll go do it. I'll help him out. So I go there and, we train and dude, Ian's such a good guy. His wife, his family, the whole team, everybody was such a good atmosphere to be around. And they kept telling me you'll be back. You're going to be back. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not coming back. They're like, dude, you're talented. Dude, you're good. And I was just like, yeah, but I don't feel it anymore. I don't have that passion for it. So, being in Ian's corner, watching him fight, I was okay being out on the sidelines and I was like, man, maybe I'll just start coaching and just do something along those lines. But that sparked me to get back in the gym. So after that, I just started staying in the gym. I started just teaching guys in the gym. I started getting more involved in the church. I started helping so many people in the church, and I just started serving people. And the more I started doing that, the more I started to see, how God was working behind the scenes, really just showing me a new way. And I was like, okay, Lord, I was like, open up a new door. I don't want to go fight this, and that's not what I want to do. But I was in prayer a lot, and I was in just good community. And I know God was like, I need you in this atmosphere for now. I need you there for now. Go fight again. So, all right. So lo and behold, I'm back. But also, I found the love for it again. I found the passion for it again. Um, Being around the young, hungry guys like Richie Miranda, like Legion, like Jacob Rosales, my buddy Daniel Matos, like all these guys are hungry in the gym, working and grinding. And I'm like, man, like they want to be where I'm at, and I'm just letting this opportunity pass. And I'm like, man, and I'm like, you know what? I found the passion again, helping them out, seeing that they're hungry, and I can still hang with these guys. And I'm like, all right, I'm still good. I'm still able to be in the top vicinity of the UFC. So um, I always said if I came back, I wanted to fight a legend, like somebody that's been in the sport for a long time. And like I prayed about that. And honestly, I thought it was gonna be like Charles, but I was like, there's no way Charles is gonna fight me. And he's ranked, I'm not ranked. It wouldn't have made sense. And Edson was at 145 at the time, so he didn't even like cross my mind at all. And then one day, I was talking with my manager, and we were just like man, like God's gonna end the year with a bang. Watch, like something's gonna open up because they, like I just didn't feel right with anything. Like I was just like, okay, like we'll see. Maybe November's not probably gonna happen. And then boom, like the next day he calls me. He's like, Edson Barboza, December 6th. I said, yeah. I said, yeah, that's it. I said, that's it. I said, that's the one. I prayed about it and I was like, yeah, I think that's the move. He's a legend. He's a veteran of the sport. He's a KO artist, great striker. It's like I love the matchup, and I just think it would be fun for the fans to come back to.
How long ago did you decide, okay, I am officially coming back? And what was that process like to probably call up your manager and say, okay, I want to tell the UFC that I'm coming back? How long ago was this?
Um, it was maybe like late August, maybe somewhere around there. I don't remember the exact time
Okay.
frame, but I stayed in the gym. So that was my thing. Like I did not stop. Like after I went and helped train with Ian for that week, I did not stop training after that. So I just started feeling inspired being around all these guys, being around Cub, being around my old team, being around Anthony Gonzalez, and I just got hungry again. I was like, I do love this. I do have a passion for this. I am skilled at this. And I just started to just stop believing all the lies and doubts that were just being poured into my own mind and my head. And then I got close to my family again, got back right with my kids, and everything just kind of just became dust under the rug. And even my kids were like, Dad, we want you to fight again. I'm like, for real again? You want me to fight again? They said, yeah. I said, all right. So yeah.
Did you exit the testing pool and then have to re-enter, or did you stay in it the whole time?
So I exited it. I exited the testing pool for it was such a short period. So it was only like a few months in between, not even that long. So they literally like came and tested me right away, and they said since I wasn't out so long and all my tests came back like negative and everything was clear, that I was good. So
Okay. Okay. So when you decide to come back and you tell the UFC this, are they just like, all right, welcome back? Or do you have to talk with someone to convince them that your heart is in it? Like, what is that process like?
um shoot, I didn't have to talk to anyone.
Or at least your team? Like, do they just say like, all right, Jalen's changed his mind. He wants to come back and like, all right, we'll let you know. Or do you have to sell them on, that you really want to fight, or he had to sell them?
I didn't have to sell anyone because ultimately it's my decision, and the action was already showing in where I was. I was in the gym every day still. I was still training hard, still sparring. It wasn't like, oh, he's not training, he's not doing anything, he doesn't care for the sport, he's not doing anything or equipping himself, and he's not being ready, he's sitting on the couch. So I think that was the convincing point for my coaches around me and everybody around me. And then, my management already knew that too. Like I'm posting videos in the gym, I'm literally training all the time. So I don't think it took too much convincing. I think it was more so um, just like more so for myself to trying to convince myself, oh yeah, I want to go back. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I want to. And that's the thing. That was what it was. That was like the step back, the step away was, you know, knowing that I wasn't mentally there to compete at the highest level where I needed to be because I just was not functioning. Like it's a job. There's always going to be times where you got to do things that you don't like and you got to overcome and endure. But like I was saying, like my circle was just really like it was just the foundation was really pivotal at that time. So now I got like a good foundation around me, a good circle around me. So I know no matter what the result ends up happening, I'm gonna bounce back. And no matter what the result is, I'm not retiring after this fight.
Okay,
People
so
are
this
like, "Are
is
you gonna retire?"
yeah, yeah. You're back. You're back for good, or at least for now. You're not back for just one more ride into the sunset.
Nah, I think I got 3 to 4 more years.
Okay.
4 more years,
Years.
yeah.
Okay. I thought you were gonna say 3 to 4
Yeah.
more fights. In retrospect, do you think something else was going on back in March? Like something, I don't know, you're burnt out, or you talk about the circle and all that, but do you think something else led to the decision?
Um, you it wasn't. I don't think when I lost my two close split decisions, those are something that really like they hurt a little bit, when I lost to Gamrot and when I lost to Dan. So I think those two things were just underlying parts of it, especially with how like everything was going. I feel like I won the fight against Gamrot. The Dan Hooker fight was close. I think it could have been a draw, but it's like those two fights really. I think they kind of they robbed me of something in a sense, and that was hard to deal with, but I don't think I ever really like came to terms with it. And then, further like getting my hand raised was just kind of like, dang, the pressure's starting to like build, and I just didn't know where to place it. And then, ultimately, when with this retirement, it was just like the tip of the iceberg was just everything else. And it was honestly, it was personal. It was a lot of things going on in my personal life, and I don't want to name names or talk about people specifically, but I was doing a training camp, and then I ended up leaving because I had just personal stuff going on, like literally just I don't know how transparent I'll ever be to talk about it, but maybe one day I'll talk about it. But yeah, I just have personal stuff going on in my own life. So even with that last fight, I didn't want to fight it. And, I know God was telling me to go fight that fight. And I still did. And yeah, so now I'm back and everything happened for a reason. I just watched that fight with Ignacio last night,
Mm.
for the first time ever.
Wow.
And it tripped me. I always watch my fights. There's only two fights I haven't watched, and that was one of them. And I haven't watched the other one yet, but he said he had a dream that he was going to win by submission. And I was like, wow. I was like, wow, that's so crazy. And I was like, that had to have been God. I was like, because that's one of the fights I don't want back. Like, if you ask me, oh, who would you want to rematch? It's like, I'm not going to say Ignacio because, like, I just know where I was, and I know like that's his win. You know what I mean? I just know it in my heart. Like I'm just like that's his win. And when I seen that in the post fight interview, I'm like, yeah, I'm like that was a God move. So I think that's why I was so at peace with the result. Because usually after a loss, like I'm fired up. Like no matter what, I'm ready to go back in the gym. Like I want to fight again. Like right then and there, like let's fight again. But that's one of the ones where I was just like calm, like oddly calm about it, and I just at peace about it. But um, yeah, I say that to say, there was so much personal stuff going on, and it was just really a build up, a snowball effect. I moved away from home. I was training out of state, training out of the country. It was like so many big transitions going on, and then having like just fallings out with coaching, and then just doing all this, having all this happen right before a fight, not getting my US. I didn't even get my contract for the fight. I hadn't got my fight contract for the Ignacio fight. And I was like, dang, like, am I even gonna fight? Like all this stuff going up in the air. And like I get back home and I'm like, yeah, I'm not fighting this fight. I told my manager, like, I'm not fighting this fight. Then the UFC sends a contract like a week later, like 2 weeks later. And I'm just like, dang, like I ain't even been training like I should have been. And then I'm like, all right, I'm gonna fight. And I pray about it. All right, I'm gonna fight. Get the call. My buddy calls me like, I think God wants you to fight. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna fight. So yeah, it was an emotional roller coaster. Like, and that's what I mean. Like if I had like, you know, just a solid circle, I would have been able to just maneuver better through all that stuff. So yeah, it was just one of those things, it was just one of those things. But yeah,
By the
it
way,
was a lot.
what's the other fight that you haven't watched yet? Now that you watched the Ignacio fight.
I have not watched that UFC 300 fight with Moicano.
Okay.
I have not watched. I watched the highlight, like little pieces. I have not watched the entire fight. I haven't sat down and watched that fight.
Do you think you ever will?
So I'll watch it one day.
It
I'll watch
bothers
it one.
you because you feel like you let that one slip away.
It bothers me because that was one of the biggest points where everything started to just
Mm,
crumble for me. Like that was like that was a fight where that was a fight where personal stuff really started to just crumble and relationships started to just get shaky and iffy. And honestly, like looking back at it, I just know God was like, if I had won $300,000 for finishing him that fight, and I just know people around me would have got really fickle. And that's a big revelation and reason why I didn't win that. Like, but it may sound as crazy as it sounds, I know that's the reason why. So
you say that you don't necessarily want the Ignacio fight back. You're at peace with it. I would imagine you want that one back.
yeah, I want that one back.
Yeah.
Yeah. One day I want that one back. I want that one back. I definitely I want Dan back, and maybe Gamrot. Maybe Gamrot again. I watched that fight so many times. I'm like, I'm at peace with that one too. Cause I'm like, I beat him. I beat Gamrot. You know.
I mean, you mentioned these names. These are the who's who. These are some of the best fighters in the world at 155 pounds. So yes, while some of them didn't go your way, it's not like you were losing to guys who were in the top 50. These are guys in the top 10, top 15 at worst. And so I'm very excited to see what this new and improved, or these maybe like the resurgence in you, what it all translates into. In May, did you have surgery? Was that anything that was plaguing you, and how serious was it?
Uh, it wasn't too serious. I tore my meniscus during camp while I was in Dubai, and I knew it right away already. But fighters fight, so I still fought and got surgery. It was a quick recovery. It wasn't too major. I literally started skateboarding like I think like 2 weeks later.
Okay. And
Yeah.
for preparation in this training camp for this fight, for this comeback, did you link up with Ian again, since you seem to have enjoyed your time with him? Did you do it this time, or will you do it in the future?
I didn't do it this time, but I definitely will do it in the future. I reached out to him. I reached out to him a couple months ago, and then once he got the Bilal fight, we just kind of just like just yeah didn't stay in communication. And also, I'm just not big on traveling for camp. Like I'll
Mm.
travel outside of camp to go train, but when I'm in camp, I like to stay grounded, like at home, like with my family, like. And that's something that I really learned from Ian too, man. Like he had his son there, he had Leo there, he had his family, like it was like that's something that I need to start taking into my fights, like being around family, like having that atmosphere with you. Like it should be like tight knit family when you like even when you're going to battle, going to war, like I used to always say I wouldn't have my kids at my fights, but then like I see how much it played a factor to just normalizing what you're doing, And it's like, all right, this is another day at the gym. I'm just about to go train, and it just keeps you present. So then when you go fight, you can fight at a better performance, at a better peak mentally. So, and I've realized that about myself as well. Like I don't like to travel for training camp. I like to stay home, stay with my kids, do my whole normal routine, and it just makes everything flow better. And then when I go to fight week, it's like, all right, now I can lock in.
How old are your kids?
My son will be 8 December 20th, and then my daughter's 6.
Okay. Are they showing interest in martial arts?
Yeah, my son definitely loves it. My daughter was doing pull-ups the other day. She did like 5 pull-ups, and everybody was all impressed.
Okay. And are you cool with them continuing down this path?
They gotta go get a college
Yeah,
education,
yeah, yeah. I don't mean being prize fighters, but and who knows what happens when they're older. But like at least now, are you cool with them practicing, training, things like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely want them to train and know how to defend themselves if need be, especially my daughter. Like that's something that's a non-negotiable. But as far as pursuing it as a career, that is 100% up to them. I won't ever force it on them. I won't ever tell them they have to. But as far as learning a martial art and learning martial arts in general, yes, you have to learn. Like you have to learn to defend yourself.
During your hiatus and maybe at the beginning of it, did you take a break from MMA? Did you not watch fights? Did you not like keep up with the news? Did you need just like a mental break from the whole sport?
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't watch anything. I didn't know what was going on. I wasn't updated. I was like, don't tell me. I don't want to talk about it. I'm not even my close friends, they were like, I haven't watched the fight since you fought. They're like, I haven't gone to an event since you fought. I'm not going. I don't it's not the same without you. And I'm like, yes.
Uh,
I'm like, yeah. Yeah, and then I got the call to go help Ian. And even with that, like I was supposed to have surgery before I went there, and then I was like, I'm gonna just go do this. I'm gonna go help him, and then I'm gonna get surgery after. So yeah, it was awesome.
and what about now? Do you feel like now that you're back and you have this renewed enthusiasm, are you keeping up with it? Are you watching? How do you feel about the sport?
I've only watched like the big fights. I haven't really been keeping up still. Honestly, I don't keep up with it as much as I used to when I was younger. Like I'll keep up with some of the lightweights in the top. I'll keep up with like the big names, but as far as that, I'm pretty much a casual, bro. I'm gonna be
Okay.
honest.
I was just curious because there's an interesting fight this weekend that sort of pertains to your weight class, and that's Islam moving up from 55 to 70 to fight Jack Della. How do you think he'll do in this main event on Saturday?
Um, Islam always shows up. I think he'll do well. I think it'll be a good performance. I think it'll be a great back and forth battle. May the best man win that night. And yeah, I'm excited to watch it. I'm definitely gonna watch that one. That's gonna be good. Jack is a monster. I love his style. I love his hands. Like I love his work. I love watching both of them fight. So yeah, I'll be tuned in for that one.
What about Armin and your former foe Dan Hooker next week? Armin Sarukian. That's a big fight in your weight class. What do you think about that one?
Oh, I think that's gonna be a good one. If Dan can endure the grappling, because dude, Dan is like the toughest man on the planet. He's the toughest human being ever. So I believe he'll be able to endure the grappling as long as he doesn't get subbed or anything. He's gonna tough it out, and he's definitely gonna try to push towards the later rounds. But Armin is a monster, and he does not get tired. His grappling is good. His striking's gotten him better. He's just getting more comfortable in there. So, dude, that's gonna be a war. It's gonna be a back and forth battle. Dan's definitely gonna make it a war. Like I think he's gonna come out and make it a war. Who do I see getting the hand raised? I don't know. I don't know. I won't count out Dan in any fight. So, yeah, we'll see.
By the way, I know you breed pit bulls, right? We talked about this at the top. How many do you actually have?
Oh, I only have two. I got two. I got a boy and a girl. That's Flair and my dog Solara. Flair just had some puppies, so I'm thinking about keeping one of his puppies. But yeah, I don't have a bunch of dogs. I just got two.
Okay, and is Flair named after Ric Flair?
No, no relation to Ric Flair at all. But everybody thinks that. Nah, he when he was a puppy, like he just had this spark about him, and he was just something fiery. And I was like, "What's a good name? I like unique names. I like things that aren't normal, things that people can't say. Oh, that's my dog's name. That was my old dog's name. Like I've never met a dog named Flair, so I was like Flair. Even with my nickname, like I never met a tarantula, or no other
Right.
fighter had the tarantula. So yeah.
And now that you're back to fighting, you're in training camp. You're about to fight in about 3 weeks' time. Have we paused on all skateboarding activities, or because I remember you saying that you were excited to do it more, not having to worry about injury. Now, how are you handling the skateboarding stuff?
I, I I haven't even got to. I just kept training. I kept training, and I haven't skateboarded since I filmed that clip, actually.
Wow, how long
So
ago was
yeah.
this?
That was like maybe like 4 months ago.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you are taking a break.
Yeah, yeah, no skateboard. You're not allowed to do anything crazy when you're in
Okay,
fight
yeah.
camp. So
But you're a pro. I didn't know if that, qualified as something crazy. And just curious, I'm always curious. I'm interested in religion. I'm interested in why people follow, what they want to believe in and how it touches them and what it means to them. Were you always a religious person, or was it just now recently that you got into it and this kind of helped guide you through this time in your life?
I was not always religious. So my mom raised me and my sister like in church. I started going to church when I was like 13, 12, 13 years old. I got baptized, and then so much like stuff happened in that church, and I just strayed away, and I was just like, I'm cool on all of that, like it was a lot of church hurt. And yeah, I would, like, my mom would ask me to go to church every now and again, every blue moon, and so I would go with her sometimes, but just kind of like just show face. And I wasn't about it, I was just like, okay, like I'm here, I'm showing up. I had no relationship with the Lord, and this was only recently, I think about 2 years ago. So like a person of significance came into my life and like really poured into me and poured into the aspect of understanding who Jesus Christ is and reading the Bible and getting to know him. And I just built that relationship, and I've been blessed to have my pastor help me and just brothers in Christ help me and continue to like keep me sharp and grow, and then just learning about the faith, serving people. And this definitely been something that's helped me so much, because even with all the success I had and dealing with everything I was going through, I just kept turning to like alcohol, partying, drinking, and I just kept feeling empty. And I'm just like, I don't understand why I'm feeling empty through all these things and instances. And then, now everything I've gotten through, if I told you everything that's going on this year, man, like you wouldn't even understand how I'm like happy and smiling. But it's through the grace of the Lord, like Jesus Christ has just truly helped me get through everything. And it's just been a blessing.
I can feel the smile coming off the screen. I could feel the happiness. You're a much different person than the one we spoke to back in March, and I'm delighted for you, man. Welcome back. Glad to see that you're in a good place, that you're happy, that you're excited, motivated, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what this means come December 6th. Can't wait for your return, and very much appreciate you coming on to talk to us about this. So again, thank you, and good luck. Good luck in training. Good luck on the night, and welcome back once again. This is an unexpected thing. I wasn't. We've seen MMA retirements end, after a year or so, maybe not always after a few months, but this is a special thing, and it's great to have you back in the mix.
Yeah, it's great to be back. And honestly, like I said, I didn't expect to even come back this fast. I thought it was going to take me a couple years, but hey, God was moving, and he told me like, go back, go do this. I said, yeah. And I'm happy. I'm excited. I can't wait to go back in there and perform. I can't wait to go back in there and fight. And, you know, I'm gonna be here for a while.
Love it. Thank you, Jalin. All the best to you. Looking forward to it.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
There he is, the tarantula, Jalin Turner, returning on December 6th against Edson Barbosa. Big fight for him to come back to. Barbosa returning to 155 as well. And that's the final UFC pay-per-view of the year. Thanks for watching this video. Before you go, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for us. Also, give us a thumbs up, leave a nice comment. These things go a long way. And while you're here, do check out the rest of the channel. We've got live shows and full interviews, clips, and a whole lot more. We're doing big things here, and we appreciate your support very much.